so much about me. Please, I'm going to pass the mic down the line. And please, just introduce yourself, let us know your background, what you're passionate about, and what brought you to UNAA. I'll start this way.
Thank you very much, George. My name is Nicholas Wako. I am from down the road, West Texas. And you'll be hearing from us because we were literally the founders of the Technology Forum. I work with Dell Technologies. I'm a computer engineer, specifically doing I interact Dell and the computer industry in the coming up with performance measures. I'm really a performance engineer. So I focus mainly on evaluating, characterizing the performance of computer systems and computer solutions. So for any emerging technology that comes up, I have to work on how to measure it and characterize it and make sure that their products perform well in those technologies. So worked Dell for 25 years. So literally have been evaluating all these technologies as they appear. Virtualization, very big on cloud computing, and now we are really working on AI, ML, DL, generative, AI. So really, basically, that is an area that I've been featuring on. Now, Technology Forum, that is our passion. When we started it, we wanted to really find a way of transferring knowledge from here to that, and we are going to talk about it, but that's who I am.
Good morning, everybody. I am Martin Kunze. You may have guessed that I don't have a Ugandan accent, so I'm not from Uganda. I am from Burundi, but I have interest in Uganda because I'm married to Uganda, and I go to Uganda quite often. So I have been working with, I am a design engineer, electronics design engineer. I have been working with Intel for the last almost 28 years. So when I started, I was doing chip design, microprocessor design. I also worked on design of graphic chips. And at the beginning, we used to do everything custom. Every single circuit used to do it individually. But since then, our design process has changed. So now we do things in a modular way. So for the last almost 10 years, I have been involved with this type of modular design, where we do IP, foundational IPs, and those get integrated into big pieces that become products that we sell to Dell, and the Dell sells to a general public. I'm giving Dell as an example. So I am also actually passionate about transferring what we have learned here, how we have learned, how we work, what we do, back to Africa, in this case to Uganda. So that will come later as our conversation continues.
Thank you. And as you share, please try and speak up so that our streaming can pick up what you share. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fred Biabaji. I live in Austin, Texas, the capital of Texas. Throughout my life, I've had 2 jobs in the US or in engineering with high technology companies. I worked for AMD and I currently work for Intel. My role in Intel is a technical program manager. We touch all aspects of the product from concept all the way to execution until end of life of the product. So I'm passionate about UNAA and UNAA Technology Forum especially is very dear to my heart. And our objective of starting this forum was to close the technology gap, transfer the skills we have to the younger generation, and hopefully it looks like it's going on quite well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Robert Magoba. I'm an Systems Administrator. I live in Washington, D.C. I've been working with computers for the last 20 years. I work for a company called MBI Health Services, the mental health. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Laura Mujiro. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I work at a company called SoFi. I'm in their cybersecurity team. I work in governance, risk, and compliance. So yeah, that's me, and I'm so excited to be here. This is my first time at UNAA, so I'm excited to be here.
Hello everyone, I'm Caroline Majimu, and I'm the Director of Information Security Team, specifically focused on governance, risk, and compliance, so I may have pulled her into this space. But I'm responsible for a variety of things at Farmers Insurance today. I oversee the data encryption program for Farmers Insurance, so we need to make sure that our data is encrypted. I'm responsible for driving those efforts. I'm responsible for our UNAA cybersecurity adoption efforts on farmers. I'm responsible for security awareness training on farmers, including fish simulations. I'm also responsible for our cybersecurity and data security regulatory compliance. In addition to, so the list goes on, I'm responsible for payment card security. So PCI, if you're familiar with that, I'm responsible for that. And actually, nationally and globally, I'm one of 2 people that are certified in that at the company. So that's, I have a lot of fun with that. I'm responsible for banking data security as well at Farmers, so ensuring that we're compliant with NACHA rules, if you're familiar with that. I'm also responsible for the vendor data security risk, so assessing our vendors as we get in relationship with them to make sure that they're going to leverage our information in a secure manner, protect our information that we give them. I mean, I could go on and on, so I'm responsible for a variety of things. Another area that is fairly new for us is the system and organizational control reporting, specifically the SOC 2, Type 2, and Type 1s. So if you also want to talk about that, I'm responsible for that at Farmers Insurance. And a variety of other things within the GRC space. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's my first time at UNAA as well, so I'm looking forward to networking and connecting with all of you.
Yeah, good morning everyone. I'm Timothy Nado. I'm a data scientist at Radiant Group, and I support, what Radiant Group is a mortgage insurance company. So I support a team which of building models, validating models, and implementing models. So it's end-to-end from the time you build the model to implement it to use it. So what we do is supporting pricing teams, supporting a couple of teams, pricing teams. So we build models which can protect like the premium, insurance premium which you can put on your mortgage, and also looking at it back from the planning perspective. Also work with business intelligence people so they're able to, we give them the results they need to get those reports done. And another thing I teach, I teach mathematics and as well our business students. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, Marisha Kaizi. I am the head of global product management in Uganda, a company called NG Energy Access. It's a solar company. It's one of the biggest solar companies in Africa. We're in 9 different countries. And my role is basically to make sure that we are providing products that are relevant for the African market. So my team takes care of product development, product management from the initial stage to concept to developing it to end of life. So that is the spectrum of the products, and we mainly deal with the off-grid market, so the rural market, and we are moving into the small and medium business. So we're looking into getting into productive use, because it's not just about being able to provide solar energy and solar provisions to the rural community. We need to also be income generating. So moving to that experience, I lived in the US, in Dallas, for 17 years, in Massachusetts for 4, did my master's there, did telecom for all that long, then moved to Uganda, been there 4 years, so I live in Uganda.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julian Choshavi. I am a senior consultant with Accenture Avenad. Avenad is one of the largest partners for Microsoft. We basically implement all the government projects within Accenture that require Microsoft. So currently, I'm positioned at Navy Federal Credit Union. I do analytics for them, basically tell stories using data. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ronnie Birahanga. That's my lovely mom. She's taught me everything I know, but I am a data scientist, data engineer. I think, like some people have mentioned, I wear a lot of hats. So I was moving that. They asked me, what do you do? And he couldn't answer that question. I find myself in that same situation. I never know how to put into words what I do. So I just summarize it and say, I take data and make actionable insight to help someone make a decision. And so I've used several tools, experienced up and down the board, VBA scripting and access databases, all the way to SQL, dimension modeling. Now you have visualizations and Tableau, and you have machine learning, someone mentioned, you have RPA, robotic process automation. I've dabbled in a lot of those, but my main focus is right now is in kind of analytics, which is kind of that kind of client-facing. I feel like you find more value propositions, you add more direct value to the business instead of being in the back end working on databases and tables. So I'm trying to focus more on that. I also teach 3 years ago, I started teaching people that have no background in analytics who want to venture into this business. I'm helping them kind of make that leap. So yeah, happy to be here. I'm so excited. I used to attend UNAA as a kid, just going for the little kid events, but now as a grown adult, excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is Anasaka Siri. I like the fact that a lot of people are transferring their knowledge to those that are growing. I like that. So again, my name is Anasaka Siri, and I currently work for the U.S. Department of Defense, mainly I'm working on the F-35 program. So we support scientists that work with these technologies, mainly in the risk management framework. And then as part of that too, I'm the president of InfoSec Village. Again, we teach and transfer knowledge and skills that anybody needs, mostly the youth, to be able to get into the tech industry. Previously, before I got into with the DoD, I worked for Novartis Biopharmaceuticals as a vulnerability manager and application security analyst. Again, we're supporting scientists in the cybersecurity department. And then before that, I'm a licensed pilot, and that's how I actually ended up getting to cybersecurity, because 6 years ago, I was so into, when I used to fly, I was so into autopilot. And there was a guy who was the cybersecurity engineer. He was able to get into United Airlines plane flight, and he hacked into their flight management system. And he was able, I don't know if you guys heard about that story, and he was able to manipulate the aerodynamics of that aircraft, and it was actually banned. So I kind of got into it. I'm like, you know what? I'm so into autopilot. How did it happen? And then I kind of found out it was through a software flow that he was able to breach through. So I went back to school to do software engineering. And while doing software engineering, after that, I was like, there's a lot of software developers, but not enough people to protect those softwares. And I ended up switching into cybersecurity, and here we are now. So it's very nice to meet you guys. Looking forward to networking and getting to share the knowledge and see what we can do for, especially for Uganda. I feel like we can do a lot back home, with the skills that we have here. So looking forward to that. Thank you. And, this is Alan Newcomer, my business partner. So go ahead.
You took the thunder out of my mouth. I don't feel so bad because Carolina makes me feel good about my workload now. So I feel better. Thank you for that one. I'm the Chief Security Officer for Upset Village, and my responsibilities are for making sure our servers ourselves are all secure, protected, all our students are able to pay securely, all that fun stuff. As well, I get to do a little bit of fun stuff and make the labs. Get those little machines that they can test and learn the actual skills that they may find upon in the actual real world. For my day job, I am a security administrator, the sole security administrator for a small to medium-sized company down in Boston, Massachusetts. So being the only security administrator for a company of that size, I wear everything. It doesn't have the word security next to it in some form, prefix or suffix. That lands on my desk, from regulatory to policy compliance to firewall rule management to vulnerability management. It all lands on my desk some way, somehow. So I'm glad to be here. I love to see all the friendly faces and open communications we have here.
Since everyone is going Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Mili Kevin Tebusawa. I come from Uganda. And my story is a bit interesting. But maybe I'm going to start by how I started working with computers. That was in 1990. So I started to learn programming and was hired by a bank. So I worked with the bank. And then my brain was really fast and I wanted to be everywhere, and I used that time until it got boring because I didn't see any other work to do because the computers were taking away all the work at that time, and we also had very few computers. So later on I went to do agricultural economics in Germany, and because through that time I learned that farmers were contributors and major customers in the bank, but they didn't feel confident even to come to the bank. So I went back because I wanted to give back to the community. So I worked with the farmers, and my motto was investigating from farm to fork. So I've been working with the farmers and partly teaching at the university in Jambugo, and started what we call the first co-shared SME food processing hub. Because I noticed that at some point we have a lot of volumes of food that go to waste, and we needed to find a way to add value to that food. But then I wanted to develop a model to see how do we follow these farmers from farm to fork in the microeconomics from the farm level model to see where things go wrong, and maybe also to find out how they can expand on what they have, because they are very royal in production, but at some point they lose money along the way. So with that SME, where we allow everybody to come and have soft and hard skills, and then also be able to brainstorm of what they can produce from whichever product. Mainly, okay, we are dealing with organic products. We are trying to promote more organic products on the market. So my aim of coming here is to look for collective marketing, but also to still work on that model and see how we can still help farmers while we earn money. So to cut the long story short, I've stopped teaching in Jambugo. I am back to data analytics. I got a scholarship from Google. So I'm now pursuing my childhood passion. But the end result, I want to work with farmers. So I liked your presentation, and I think we can communicate more. Thank you very much.
All right. Just a request for the remaining participants, because we have this room for a limited time, can we use maybe 10-30 seconds for the intros so that we can meet the time frame for the room. I know we will continue, but Paul, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Kelanji. I am the CM founder of Zofikash. I'm honored and privileged to stand before you today. Looking forward to very great conversations.
You wanted to say
Good morning, everybody. I'm Joe Baraka from San Francisco area. I've been an engineer, but I'm an investor right now. The founder, managing partner of venture capital arm, making capital, focused on Africa, early stage, pre-seed companies. And I'll be sharing more about that.
Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful to be here today. And my name is Jejina Nikairo Kironda. I'm a senior data scientist / data engineer. I currently work with the Centers for Disease Control. My background is in informatics and data analysis and statistics. And I work with a lot of cloud computing technologies, machine learning, data science, and predictive analytics. I'm currently at the CDC working with COVID data and virus and bacterial data. Glad to be here, and I'll talk a little bit more. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so being the last person, I think I'll get more time. And it looks like everyone is has something in common with the other person. I think my case it could be a bit different. Maybe two people are just like me. So my name is Geoffrey Oma, my name. Originally born and raised in Kenya. Moved here to US 4 years ago. Settled in Washington State. Flew in yesterday night to be able to attend UNAA 2023. I'm so happy, and it's surprising that everyone here is either has interest or has a background in data analytics, and that's the food I eat every day. So I wear many hats, but I have been a teacher. I taught in the university in Kenya before I moved here, and I'm now teaching. I don't teach classroom where people talk about education, but I teach in a classroom where we talk about skills in data analytics. So I see you guys, everyone, either teaching or working as a data analyst, data engineer, and of course we also have investor here. So I do three things. So I founded a company here over 2 years ago. The name is SafeNet. The company does three things. One is training people, giving people skill in data analytics. We talked about tools that I was really excited about: Tableau, Excel, Power BI, Python, R, machine learning, big data analytics, AI. These are things that we do as part of our training. Second product is a platform where, because we come here as immigrants, we've got a lot of challenges. So that platform, we're able to provide services that's close to you under one roof. You're looking for legal services, be it financial services, be it kind of job search, everything will be under that roof. That platform also gives opportunity to showcase your business. Then the last product is called Coding for Kids. So we help kids to learn coding at early stage from 7 years. For more information, I think I hope I'll be given a chance to present more about this. Thank you so much. Looking forward to meeting with you and networking with you.
Wow. This is awesome. Thank you all for introducing yourselves. What we were hoping to achieve, I think, Wando? Yeah. All right, Mr. Oma, you were not the last, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, I had a phone call real quick, but my name is Jenna Cassesi. I work for the state as a data research specialist, because everybody does data. And we track and run the state's health data. And so we help other state organizations and anybody who's running any research projects that might be related to work through that.
This is exciting, very, very exciting. From my background as a strategic consultant, I think we have enough resources in this room to build a unicorn, right? Okay, I know we have some late arrivals. We're happy to have you here. You are most welcome. We have just taken a moment to introduce ourselves. You can just let us know what your name is, where you're from, and then we'll do that in like 10 seconds.
Thank you very much. I'm King Carissa, Group CEO of this media. It's a media group in Uganda, one of the largest in Africa. We run 32 companies. Why I'm here, I want to talk about Afro Mobile, our student platform that will be able to connect Ugandans to diaspora. Afro gets news, live TV, and radio, music, culture, Ghana movies.
Yeah, my name is Andrew Matobi. I am from Uganda, presidential listing on financial development. I have a passion for IT, so I'm here to support the cause.
Thank you. I'm Julius Akunda. I work with the Uganda Diplomatic Service, Uganda Embassy in Brussels.
All right, this is awesome. Okay, without us using any additional time, we're going to do a few things this morning. One of them is to really ground ourselves in the vision of this forum so that we are directionally correct. There are a few changes that have come to light, and there is a very powerful energy that is not just in this room, but is beyond this room. We represent a nucleus of Ugandans that are really getting passionate and excited about IT, about the opportunities found in IT that are emerging. So let's have Nicholas, Fred, and Nova. Gentlemen, if you may, assume the stage. We're going to have a conversation real quickly because these gentlemen, let me have Julius. That Julius will tell us the story. I don't want to preempt Julius's presentation. Are going to give us a quick Q&A conversation about where this technology conversation began in UNAA. We are a part of something going on, and it's super exciting. Now, as the gentlemen take the stage, after this we're going to have a conversation about the Ugandan ecosystem, the Ugandan technology ecosystem that would involve both local Ugandan and diasporan engagement, so that we can see where we have both opportunity and I don't want to call them challenges. They remain opportunities, bottom line. There's nothing we can't solve in this room. As you can see that we have the resource necessary to do just about anything here, all the way from InfoSec, data analytics, product development, both technical and business. We have research, we have a little presentation, education, and a number of things. So Julius, I would like for you to take over from here so that we can engage our founders in understanding where this comes from and where we are going as far as the tech forum is concerned. Later on, we will have a much more clearer conversation about the strategic vision and what has emerged as a 3-year program that is starting this year and where we want this conversation to go.
Thank you, George. Sorry, there are no stairs here. Morning, everyone. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, but I've introduced myself to some of you. My name is Julius Kabugu. I'm the chairperson of the Ugandan community in Austin, Texas, and I'm really proud because these gallant gentlemen are all from Austin, Texas. We are a powerhouse. Fred was our former chairperson, and he helped to with Nicholas, Novat, and other folks to set up the community in Austin. It's now a fully registered nonprofit, and so I took over from very capable hands and trying to keep the torch going. Austin is a big, big tech city. So if all of you are looking for opportunities in technology, needless to say, most of you probably know that already, but it is the place to be in technology right now, and you're more than welcome. Just don't bring big cars, we don't have space. The traffic is crazy, so please, small cars only. So thank you again. I'm a software engineer by training. I'm also an electrical engineer by training. But right now at FICO, the credit score company, I deal with just helping create enterprise applications for the company as needed. So I run teams in India and Thailand. All right, so let's get into the forum. Fred, Nicholas, Novat, how many years has the Tech Forum been in place?
So we actually started in 2013, and that was interesting enough, Dallas. So when the Dallas Convention started, we sat together actually and said, hey, why can't we do something for the technology system? And what we really wanted was the transfer of knowledge. I think between us, we have like over 70 years of experience. And we've reached that stage where we said, okay, pretty much hit all the spots, and as far as working in the US and big Fortune 500 companies. Now, we needed to percolate that information to our people back home. And when we started, we actually brought in the Ugandan policymakers. Yes. The Minister of ICT at that time, Dr. Hakana Rugunda, he graced our function and actually opened it. And then successively after that, we had the John Nasasira, who also was coming. And then somewhere in between, but the aim was to make sure that we are working with the Ugandan communities here and also in Uganda. And I remember one time I was in Uganda, and then Engineer Nasasira was aware that I was there. He actually called me in an afternoon and called a staff meeting so that I could, talk to them. So anyway, that was our vision, was mainly to do that. And it's good that it is also, the mission is going on, and we are happy to see that the fruits of our labor and our vision are ongoing.
Thanks, Steve. Fred, maybe over to you. Can you explain a bit more about the vision of this technology forum? Because we have it at UNAA every time, and we're not just here to meet and network, right? There has to be things you dreamt about achieving at the Tech Forum. Can you give us a little bit more insight on that?
Actually, very interestingly, during that time, there was a new wave of technology. Cloud computing was a big thing. Social media was getting started. So all those were converging, and it was a perfect time to start looking at options in Uganda to bring all that technology back to work. For example, we know how bad customer service is in Uganda. The services don't work right. And we had this image of taking something that is actually reliable, helping businesses, instead of trying to create their own networks and all that, take advantage of the new technology of the cloud computing, which has taken off like a storm now. Very interestingly now, people are talking about artificial intelligence. It looks like the same wave is starting again. So those are the things we had in mind. Bridging the technology gap between what we have here and what there is there in Africa. we actually had intentions of expanding not just to Uganda, but neighboring countries. And at that time also, they were starting the fiber infrastructure. It was coming slowly from Mombasa, going, I think that time they were around Kampala. And all those things were converging right at that time. I think that's what really motivated us to use our background, experience, take advantage of the positions we have in these companies, get a look at what's coming next, and use it to our advantage.
Thank you, Fred. And Novat, if I may ask, I think when you started, it seems like you had a lot of focus on developing the technology landscape in Uganda. But I think there is need here too, right? So what do you think, how do you think the vision can evolve, both to help Uganda, but also to help our communities here in the diaspora? How do you think we can evolve that vision going forward?
I think we can evolve the vision going forward by having a forum like this one where we can get to network and we can see what our capabilities are like. And eventually maybe we reach a critical mass of people who are here, who have skills that are transferable. And diverse people. Unfortunately, Mr. was it Kiboneka, the venture capitalist, just walked out. So I want to tell you a story.
He knew about asking for money.
Oh, maybe. So actually, as we were talking about this forum, the technology forum, we were also working on walking the walk. So we did start with putting together a cloud computing company, and we had a blueprint. We went through all the technical side as well as we could do it. And actually, I think we're successful about that. But what we lacked was the money. Whatever doors we knocked at, I think people saw in Uganda this as maybe too risky for them. But we thought it was a good idea, and we hope someone else will actually, technology changes very fast. What we're thinking then, the blueprint we have now has to be updated, and maybe that may be not the technology that is needed at this moment, but something is needed. We need to create in our countries. We need to create companies that can that can create jobs, that can transfer knowledge, and it is actually for me. There is a small country I always think about and see what they do, and I think we can do those exact, maybe even better than Taiwan.
I thought you were going to say Rwanda.
Taiwan, when I came to the US, I was surprised to see that they were not doing big things then, but all keyboards, I used to buy keyboards individually, all keyboards were made in Taiwan. A keyboard is a simple thing, but they specialized, did it better than anyone, and I think the rest is history, because from that experiences, they learned to do things that are now grandiose.
Yeah.
So, just to add on to piggyback on what Novat has just said, you know, when you kind of joked about Rwanda, it reminded me when we were trying to set up this cloud computing company in Uganda, you'll be very surprised. There's someone who told us, but why are you wasting your time with Uganda? Something like this, you should take it to either Rwanda or Kenya. I thought that would be very, very, very disheartening. And you are a Ugandan official, and you don't have confidence in our own system. So I feel that it is our job to build confidence in our people. I mean, even you can start from UNAA itself. Can you imagine that we were using technology for our elections for some time now, maybe 2 or 3 cycles, but we are no longer using it because, again, there's the trust issue in technology. So the fact that our own people do not trust technology, I feel is a shortcoming on our part. Who are technologists? I don't blame them. If they don't trust it, they have a reason why they don't trust it. So we really have to start, other than just talking the talk, and we have to be the evangelists for our technologies and show people that technology actually works. If our own people do not trust our technology, then we have failed.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. I guess my last question, I'm going to try to pull in maybe somebody from the crowd. Kid, maybe I can start with you. You're in Uganda. Do you think the vision this gentleman had for Uganda 10 years ago, is Uganda ready for that vision today?
Thank you, Chair. Let's appreciate this gentleman. I don't know why he was already there. Yeah. If you have this in Uganda, they will start by looking at the content, but looking at the format of the panel. We are too gender sensitive. From the president, the rest of the people are female. The most powerful people in Uganda are women. That aside, technology. The vision you had 10 years ago, working with Honorable Nasasira, Right Honorable Gunda, and many others, we have moved. I believe by then we had, I think, one sea cable connected to Uganda. Right now we have more than 5 from Tanzania, 3 or 4 from Kenya. There's 5G. I graduated from Makerere in 2000. I did start computing, Bachelor of Statistics computing. And I went to China, did computer engineering. I went to the Netherlands, tried to do PhD in cybersecurity. I used to lecture at Makerere, faculty of computing in Netherlands, Nijmegen University. So from then, I stopped lecturing in 2006, 2007, but I've seen people invest in IT. We have very many graduates from the Millennium Bug, as we graduated at the time of Millennium Bug, that computers were going to bust in 2000, and the first jobs we got were to go and try to reinstall software and rebuild some of those computers. So from then, all parents that had money had to take their kids to study computer. So actually we have more people who have studied computer than those who have studied law, who have studied SWASA, social work and social administration. So we have many kids who have done programming, many kids who have done so many things. So in terms of the infrastructure setup, connectivity is there. There are big data centers from the US, Raxio, and many others. We are also building a huge data center to enable those cloud computing. I believe the infrastructure is there. People to work in there that can be retooled and retrained by yourselves, they are there. You don't need to ship Americans.
Can you afford us?
Yeah, I believe. So as a business, I may not afford you, but the business should afford you. Because we made laws as Uganda to protect personal information. Those laws are there, because all the tech companies and e-commerce companies like Junior and others that are on the cloud, they are not allowed to keep data here. They're supposed to keep data in Uganda. So now that creates business opportunities for cloud computing and many other things. So I believe it is better you never went in 2013, because you would have waited longer, because the environment was never ready for you. You would have waited longer to have that business work. But right now, the The infrastructure is good. There's good connectivity. The way you have it here, it's the same way we have it back home. The price might be a little bit higher, but it is there. Then the human resource, people are there. And just to train them 3 months kind of course, and they will do what people are doing here. So I believe the environment is good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I totally agree. I think in Africa, Uganda has potentially one of the largest number of entrepreneurs that are just potential entrepreneurs, but very intelligent people. I go back every year and I'm amazed at what things people get to do with limited resources. So if you're thinking of starting a company and you're looking for people to help you, like human resource, like Tim said, think about Uganda. There is talent there. Thank you. One last piece of this panel. I wanted to invite the man holding the camera up there, Robert Chigundu. He currently is
a jack of all trades. Pretty much.
Happens to be driving the technology forum right now. But you know, this is exactly what a startup looks like. Yeah. You do everything, right?
Pretty much.
So Robert,
yes.
You've heard what the founders have talked about. You're currently driving the technology forum forward. How are you seeing the technology forum evolve into the 2000s?
Yeah. First of all, real quick. My name is Salam Robert Chigundu. I didn't get the opportunity to introduce myself because I am the jack of all trades, running the show, the media, and all of that, because we are in startup mode. But I appreciate the gentleman for having started off 10 years ago. You guys had the foresight to look into the future. At that time, I suppose technology was just at the beginning. Everything was just taking off, right? And you had this vision. So please join me in giving them a big round of applause. So the forum then, when they started, I think a couple others happened at the subsequent UNAA convention. And then obviously they got busy, life happened, and they moved on, and it went into hibernation. And then 2019 is when the convention happened in Chicago, and I engaged. And another gentleman called Akiki Kasaito Kugonza, who was never come here because he's in Uganda, he just got married. So he pulled us together, me and others, Georgina and others, said, guys, let's engage the technology conversation. And so we kind of woke up from hibernation and we did something in Chicago. And then the pandemic hit. And then of course we went offline, but UNAA had a convention online. And then we went to San Francisco, we gathered again, and there I met George, Geoffrey and others. We said we have to get this off the ground again and keep going. To answer your question, how do I see it going into the future? I'm very optimistic, I'm very excited. Where you guys started this here in Dallas, I know there is a vibrant technology community here in Dallas. A big percentage of this room is all Dallas residents, and many of them are earning a life in technology. So I am very optimistic. I think that the future is bright. What we have just decided to consider going forward is let us also become entrepreneurs, as opposed to just a 9-to-5 job and making money for ourselves. But we can take it a little bit higher and become entrepreneurs. That's why our theme says from idea to reality, because we're thinking, many of you have ideas that are in your minds, but you just haven't done anything about it. So we brought a panel of speakers, a couple of speakers, and to help us in getting intrigued. Let us start thinking about making money, entrepreneurship in the technology space, but making money. And I'm very optimistic. Obviously, you can see what's going on. Startups is the buzzword of today, and many other things are coming online, artificial intelligence and all of that. There's opportunity for us to make money. and actually improve, create jobs back home. So I'm very excited about the future.
Yeah, so I think you brought a proper segue into what our next thing is going to be. We're going to have a very exciting speaker on stage. Paul Chirunji, founder of Zofikash. I know he introduced himself. So thank you so much for addressing us. And so ladies and gentlemen, Paul Chirunji, our keynote for the Technology Forum. Welcome. And as Paul makes his way up here, we're going to try to run through this program really quickly because we want to be out of here by 12:30. I'm trying to see if we can get access to the lunch for the Trade and Investment Forum. So let's try to work through this program very quickly and be done by 12:30. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much. Again, good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Chirunji, CEO and founder of Zofikash. Yesterday I was attending a mix and I told these people that mentioning the word CEO gives me shivers because I don't know. I still wonder who a CEO should be. I mean, I know because I get to do it, but it's been learning on job. So, I want to welcome you all here today to the Tech Forum. It's an honor to stand before you today, leaders of various technology disciplines, including cybersecurity, including the media, including product design, including everything tech. Thank you for making it here. My first UNAA that I attended was in 2013, and for some reason I haven't been able to attend any other until today. So it really gives me great joy to see that we can sit here and talk about tech, something that we are all passionate about. I always tell people that if I'm going to create any product, if it is not tech-based, I'm going to be the biggest failure because I don't know how to run anything if it is not tech-related. And I'm not even like an engineer, like most of you are here. I'm just someone who is passionate about what technology can do, what technology has done, and what the future looks like. So now let's talk about the future, unexplored possibilities that lie within our reach, right? We had I don't even, how many things did you say you're doing?
I mentioned only half of them.
She mentioned like over 10 hats that she wear at her workplace. You know, we have people here dealing with big data, machine learning. Tell me if the future is not exciting and it's not for us to take on. It's kind of sad when you attend like big conferences. I'm talking about the TechCrunch, I'm talking about the Money 2020, I'm talking about the Web Summit. And when you get to these venues, the only people you see are from West Africa. Nigeria, Ghana, Nigeria. They are going to come close to home, it's going to be Kenya. You know? But you here, all of you here, has what these guys have. At your respective workplaces, whatever you are doing, these guys are doing. The only thing that I think we do have as Ugandans, we kind of want to see change, but we are not hungry enough for it. We fear, you know. Yesterday, I was talking to Salongo when we were coming from the mixer. I told him that let me actually bring it out here like this. How many of us here today are married? Great. And just dating? Single? Trying it out?
Why you gotta call us out like that?
No, actually, so the thing about the way I've been able to resonate, trying to connect the dots or the relationship between our personal relationships, like the people that we're dating, marriage, is somehow those who are married are not married to the people that they dated the first time they got into dating. Right?
It depends.
Not all. Majority. Like, I can bet my hand, 90% of the people who are in here today, most likely married. They're not married to the people that they first dated. They tried out that first relationship, and it failed. Miserably. I went through a bad heartbreak, and I thought I was gonna die. I kept sleeping on my bed, and the person that I was dating, that I'd broken up with, she kind of moved on so fast. Right? I'm on my sick bed, and I'm trying to imagine what life would be if she was there by my side, and she was on the beach, having the greatest time of her life. Right? To bring us back to entrepreneurship, that's how entrepreneurship is actually. You're going to wake up in the morning with a dream. Kim can tell you, he runs 13 media companies, right? He's going to tell you that it has not been a rosy journey. It's marveled with a lot of failure. But even when he fails, he doesn't stop there. He wakes up in the morning and keep moving. If you are going to think just about the greatest companies, right? The biggest people that we admire today. I'm talking about the Bill Gates. I'm talking about Elon Musk. You know how many rockets has taken SpaceX to succeed? Many. So as we are here today, thinking about the future, thinking about how tech is going to change the world, the Africa that we aspire for, let's be mindful that the waters are not charted. It's vague. It's not clear. But the only thing that can take us or move us forward is the hope that we can actually make it. Because you're making it already, right? This gentleman, man, wherever you are working, you are making it already, right? And the people in Africa have actually built great highways. I'm talking about, when I talk about highways, I like relating it with the freeways here, most especially those ones with a road toll. Like you get on, pay, then use it, move on, right? Media. We have a representation from MTN. MTN is right now, I think, not Uganda, but Africa's biggest fintech. They're going to every single space, one at a time. They've built great deals where you can come and build on top and be able to reach millions of customers, which they have already. So what's stopping you? Right? Let's keep dreaming. Let's be bold. Like I said, you are going to fail here and there, but eventually you'll get it. My company, Zofikash, when I first started it, I talked to a few friends of mine, and I told them I'm going to start a salary advance company in Uganda. And I told him how the business model would work,
And he asked me, the first thing that he asked me, how much money do you have? I told him I have 30K, 1,000 USDs, but honestly I didn't even have it. But because I wanted him to have some kind of confidence in what I was about to take on, I didn't have it. But I went, built, and built. We are serving over 20,000 employees today, working with over 1,800 companies in less than 2 years. Right? We failed in so many ways, but we've also succeeded in great ways. You know? So whatever you are thinking, that idea that you had, that you are kind of like not sure whether should I jump or should I not jump? No, it's the same thing that you have with relationships, right? You get out of that bad relationship and then you are kind of like not sure whether this will work or it will not. But you know what's funny? Intuition always tells you, go on. Go on. For the most part, you win. You know? So as we are seated here today, let's think about technology. Now, I tell people that the way I myself see technology and entrepreneurs, I think we are actually the biggest artists of our time. It's not the Picassos anymore. It's people like you who envision these chips, right? You just have this idea, right? You go, sit, map it out, draw it, and then build it, and then it works. You know? Imagine Elon Musk when he first imagined Tesla. The Roadster. Let's look at what he has built today. You know? It's not something that ever existed. The iPhone. You know? Steve Jobs said that sometimes the things that we are going to build, if someone told you that this is how it's going to be, for the most part you're going to jump out because you really don't see it in a practical way, right? But he said certain things are only going to make sense if you just look at them backwards, right? This is where you want to be, and you build. The dots are only going to connect and make sense as you look back on how or what you had to do, the journey that took you to get there. You know? That's how we need to look at it. There's a lot of need for exploration, and this is not just for the sake of producing like great products, or just making a fortune of what we are, of what we envision, or what we want to build, but it's about the lives that are waiting on us, you know? I used to live in California, and one time we were at church, and a pastor said, she made a statement, she said, if you live in the US, you are a United States citizen, yet you are struggling to make ends meet, you are in the wrong place. You know? Like, my company, we've been privileged to go so many places, and every single time I struggle when I'm doing paperwork for my team, you know? Me, just wake up in the morning and I say, I'm going, and I go, you know? Now, that's the power each one of us here today has. Leverage it. Go to new places. Make networks. Talk to people. You know, he was saying yesterday, he said something that really kept me wondering. He said, every single stranger that is around you is someone that has money. Not that you're going to go and steal it from them, but potentially if you can sell to them, for the most part, will buy. You know? Think about it. Right? So, yeah, I want us to take a moment, reflect on the world we aspire to see. You know? We launched in 2021. As of today, I'm proud to say that I've created 17 jobs in Uganda. You know? People that get paid every month, they have families that they take care of, you know? Life goes on. You know? Yeah.
So they're full-time jobs?
Yes, they are full-time jobs. And yeah, well actually what I wanted to drive home is, we also pay taxes. We pay taxes from day one. You know? The government is able to make revenue from us. Right now there's the city kind of a taxi that you pay for your employees from wherever everywhere, you know? Like we've been able to create it, but it didn't exist 2 years ago. You know? And then these people are able to take care of their families. They are able to meet their everyday needs. So, yeah. Think about that one idea that gives you sleepless nights. But go dare it. As you dare to get into new relationships and like that kind of uncertainty that you have, but still move with it, have the same tenacity to move on to creating new and awesome products. We're talking about Africa, right? 70 to 75% of Africa's population is below the age of 25. Africa. Do you know what that means? Africa has the biggest and the most upcoming market for anything that you can think about. For any product that you can think about. You know? How do you position yourself to take charge of that? How do you position yourself to create products that are going to be consumed by these users, but also impact their lives? You know? I just wanted to challenge us. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a real round of applause for, I believe, what has become a reference point for us, because Paul was a resident of the diaspora community here in the US and was able to take his learning and experience, create a product, no, not really create, imagine a solution and start dreaming. We are all dreamers of sorts. Whether you're being paid by an employer or you're doing it for yourself, it's the same energy we need to move forward. This is exciting. One of the greatest passions that we have this weekend is to look introspectively so that we get inspiration to actually take practical steps. Among us are people who have done this. Paul has clearly showed us a little bit about what he's done. It's kind of hard to be put on the spot, be given 5 minutes or 15 to talk about a 5-year journey, you know. It's going to unfold. Paul will be presenting again to us tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yes, he will have a more full-blown presentation on his journey and so on. But with us right now, 2 more conversations that we're going to hear about, and we're going to showcase next in line. We will have Karen. She has a presentation. Karen is one of the youngest people in the room. She is studying and continuing to study, but has created and developed a product. Karen, if you can make it to the stage up here. Right after Karen, we are going to hear from a very, well, we've already heard from him, none other than Mr. Kin. we'll have Kid Kalisa give us a 5-minute brief on his experience, because he sort of has a very interesting perspective on, you know, diaspora and opportunity versus traction on the ground in Uganda, the entrepreneurial journey, and as that sets us up for our conversation on the Ugandan ecosystem, I think we will have enough within our bag to start the conversation. So our presentation is going to go up, and for the presentation, I believe we may have to cut the lights so that it is clearer. Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Karen Kunda. I'm a recent graduate from Yale University with a Bachelor's of Science in Neuroscience, and I also completed the pre-med track. So over the past 4 years, while studying the brain and other interesting modalities of the human body, I developed a strong passion for medicine and healthcare. I currently work at Mass General Hospital as an NIH pre-doctoral fellow, and I'm focusing on clinical research to improve patient outcome. So I also have an opportunity to navigate many patient interactions in my day-to-day. And I take pride in my heritage as a Ugandan, and I'm constantly looking for different opportunities to utilize my knowledge and skills to help other Ugandans. So I did develop a diagnostic health app that I eventually plan to implement into my career as I move forward in medicine. Next slide. So in high school and college, I developed a template for a diagnostic app. So this app was inspired by the passing of my dearest grandfather, Jaja Monti, years ago. He suffered both a stroke and congestive heart failure, and unfortunately he lived miles away from the nearest hospital that could properly diagnose and treat him in Fort Portal. So I designed an app intended to empower all Ugandans with healthcare knowledge, especially in cases for those who live deep in the country and do not have proper access to large city hospitals. So the key goals of this app are to provide a quick diagnosis to patients through self-reported symptoms. I originally intended for the app to help diagnose neurological diseases and disorders due to my interest in the brain, but eventually the app can expand to other diseases in the body. So in addition, the diagnostic app can be useful to patients who wish to locate nearby hospitals using in-app geolocation tools. My intent is to alleviate the stress and confusion that comes with alarming symptoms and diagnoses. So with in-app geolocation tools, this improves patient experience by allowing them to find nearest physicians who are able to treat their conditions. The app also can, and then lastly, I also plan for the app to be integrated into a cloud-based system like AWS, and this can store the health data and be used for future clinical analysis. Next slide. So for example, let's say we have a patient who's presenting symptoms of early onset of Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's is a neurological condition of severe memory loss. So the app will be able to match the self-reported symptoms of the patient to this diagnosis, and then all the health data will be pushed to local physicians through in-app notifications. And then the app will be able to provide hospitals that are close by to the patient, which are staffed with physicians that are able to treat them with the condition. So the patient uses the geolocation tools to get directions to the hospital, and then lastly, the app will provide them with some suggestions to mediate their Alzheimer's, for this example, such as like brain-stimulating memory and orientation exercises, active recall, musical activities, word puzzles, anything that can help treat or help mediate their symptoms until they're able to go in for their appointment. And once the appointment is between the patient and the physician, a proper diagnosis and treatment can be completed in person at the hospital. So I believe this will significantly improve patient outcome because patients will be more empowered by taking the steps that they can use to handle their symptoms. And that is it. That's good.
Awesome. One more for Karen. All right, Karen, before you leave, real quickly, I want to get some reaction from the audience. Does anyone have a question or a comment? Geoffrey, you have one. And who's next after Geoffrey? I just want to take about 3. Okay, I already have 3. Thank you.
Hi, Karen, this is great. I live in Silicon Valley. I see young people like this. In Silicon Valley, this is $5 million company already. This is what I see. I'll give you a story of, you guys know the company called Dropbox. I know that. The founder of Dropbox was at this stage. He met, the founder of Dropbox was around this age and daughter. They met at a restaurant with another Iranian. They casually talked like this, and he invested money in the company. It turned out to be billions and billions of dollars of company. They're Iranians. You can Google, he's called Pezman Nojad. He's one of the top profile venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. This is how America has been created. I see no reason why we cannot invest in someone like her. I really don't. And other people will come and invest in such people, and we will lose these opportunities. That's why I got into venture capital, because for me, I've been in this ecosystem. I worked at Tesla for 7 years. I saw how the company grew, all the challenges and all these things, so I've seen this. This is why we need to get together and invest in such talent. If we don't, other people are going to take this talent. This is great, and these are solving Africa's problems. If someone else can come and understand our little problems and intricacies, they won't. Okay, but she's been here, the best schools, all this knowledge. That's what we need to do. That's what's going to take our economies, to create a $100 million company. I'm telling you, this is what happens. Last Sunday, I met some other entrepreneurs. They've created a device that can detect bacteria within 5 minutes. They're from a university in Europe. They were looking for money in Silicon Valley. I'm telling you real stuff.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Learn to make that as brief as possible so we can max our time.
Yes, so, Oma is my name. So I want to ask a question. What is this app meant to do? Who are the users? Do we intend to integrate it with the hospitals? Is it the self-care providers? So get to know how a normal person like me would be able to use this app. So the question again would be, who are the intended users for this app, and how do you plan to roll it out? Like what you've shown us is just a brief overview. I don't know what happens at the back end. Okay. So like if I have to sign up, do I sign up as a provider? Do I sign up as a patient? So maybe you can basically explain those basic terms. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Sure. So to answer your first question, I would intend for there to be 2 interfaces. So one for the providers, the physicians, the hospital, where they're able to take in the data from the patients as it comes in. So like the notifications that I was mentioning, that would be coming in through the physician interface. And they would be able to collect all of that data and see, okay, so-and-so who lives about 2-3 miles from our hospital just reported symptoms that would match with potential stroke or potential Alzheimer's. And then that data would be collected in their database. And then the interface for the patients would obviously look different. I would intend for it to be a free app that anyone in Uganda could use in order to interact and find local hospitals that can help treat their conditions. So they would go into the app, they would report their symptoms, and then the app would produce, say, like 3-4 hospitals that have physicians who are, based in neurology, who are able to treat maybe Alzheimer's. Because what happened with my grandpa is that he had physicians who were, treating him, but they didn't have the tools, the resources, the knowledge to properly diagnose him soon enough. So the problem that I'm trying to solve is having people who are making sure that people are being treated with the correct physicians, and physicians who are properly are knowledgeable in the disease that they have, and knowledgeable, and they have the tools and resources in order to treat the patients as soon as possible. So I want to have those two different interfaces, and all of this will be kind of stored in the cloud that can eventually be used for further analysis to see, okay, maybe patients who are living in Fort Portal, a lot of them are suffering from these conditions. How can we treat that? Or a lot of people living in Kampala, maybe there's pollution, there's this that are causing these kind of diseases. All of that data can be collected into a big database, and then scientists even outside of Uganda can come and within Uganda, outside of Uganda can come and analyze that data and help advance our healthcare system. So.
The opportunities are endless. I see really from that explanation what would be an equivalent of a healthcare marketplace that allows us to share data and allows patients to get options for treatment and what direction to go. Basically, better decision making when you need it. There was one more. Am I right, Karen? Well, don't worry about it.
Thank you very much, Karen. You are an inspiration. Before I ask my question, I have to commend you for what you are doing. This is one way to use technology to solve a problem. You saw what happened with your grandpa, and you actually did something about it. And you are doing it at a very good age. Because as Paul said, when you are dating, it is easier to handle the heartbreak when you are younger. Some of us, if our wives were to leave us, we would not wake up. So you are at that age whereby even if this doesn't go very well, you will come up with another one. So this should be an inspiration to all you, the other young ones. This is the time to start. So my question is really got to do with at what stage is this platform? Is it still at the design stage, or is it ready to roll out? And where has it been tested? Have you tested it in Uganda or wherever? Thank you.
Sure. So to answer your question, right now it's in the developmental stages. I actually designed the interface in high school using JavaScript. So I took a lot of CS classes throughout high school. I took some data science classes at Yale. I did not have an opportunity to get into the coding behind the geolocation and the self-reporting symptoms, only because I was busy at school. Right now my intent, I'm on a gap year. I just finished school, so I'm hoping to advance the app and start collecting data that then can be fed into this app in order to match symptoms. So at my job at MGH, they have several projects that are based in Uganda. I'm working in gastrointestinal diseases right now. So I plan to get more involved with those type of projects and eventually go over to Uganda and collect data with the physicians at MGH. So I will hopefully use that data and then use it in this app.
There is no way we can exhaust what we want to do, and my goal is that you're inspired to start the dialogue. There are several startups in this room. I am short of time to allow presentations for them, and yet they are very valuable. Now, for all of you that have something you'd like to present, let us know what it is. Let's have a conversation, because we are evolving the conversation, okay? A round of applause for Karen. Please come down. Let's have Kim. We have 5 bare minutes.
Sorry, as Kim is coming, I know you guys have been here about an hour. There is a water fountain at the back there. If you get thirsty, please make your way to the water fountain, get a glass of water, come back and sit down. Okay? Let's not fall asleep. Thank you. And lunch is being prepared for the Credit Investment Forum. You guys will be invited to join us over there. Okay? Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, the conversation is continuing after this. We still have tomorrow as well. So we have quite a lineup. We have lots to cover. Kim, please.
Thank you very much. Maybe I request to stand up and stretch a bit and sit for since they don't touch carriers there, my friends.
Hold the Lord.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, shoot.
Now, let me start with the wonderful lady.
Yeah, I will dry out. You're fine.
how I wish we get these kind of highly educated people in the global north, in America, in Europe, come back home and inspire young people. Because what kills us in Africa is the kind of education we get. I don't know whether you get it. Some of you who were educated in Africa or in Uganda using the UNAA system, when you interface with kids here that have gone through the education system here, the thinking is different. It's quite different. And that's how, whenever they go back to Africa, they look at the problems we have, they come up with solutions. And the Mzungus here will never find those solutions for Africa. You need Africans back home to find solutions for Africa. I mean, mobile money, M-Pesa, couldn't be invented here or in Europe because there was no problem for paying. It was back home, there no addressing system, no what, you can't pay, you don't have credit card. That's how they got all these solutions. So I believe solutions like this, what Karen has just given us, these are solutions that will change Africa and will leapfrog with the countries that have been developing for so many years and they have reached a certain level and will catch up with it. Because the infrastructure has flattened everything. The same internet you have, the same internet you have there. The same handsets you have, iPhone, Samsung, whatever, the same handphone, whatever handsets they have over there. So the infrastructure is sorted. So we need more people like Karen, like CEO Paul, and many of you to come back home and transform Uganda and Africa. Now, the next forum, I would suggest that we work with organizers. I would volunteer to help and make sure that we get more big companies out of Uganda and the leadership, the ministry, parliament, National IT Authority, Uganda Communications Commission, the ICT Association and others, get them here. And other tech hubs. There are a couple of tech hubs that we've seen that they will incubate some of your ideas. Mastercard Foundation, Dell Foundation, and many other foundations are funding those tech hubs which grow ideas like those. So if we can plan early, I'll volunteer to help at no cost. Make sure that we have a very successful event next year, wherever it will be. I have two things I want to talk to you about within 3 minutes. One is our streaming platform, AfroMobile. I lived in China for 2 years. I was doing masters in computer engineering. I lived in Netherlands for 2 years. I was doing PhD in computer security. I've been, since 2014, I used to go to Boston. I used to go to Harvard. I would be attached there for 30 days for 5 years at Harvard Business School. So I've lived in the diaspora. I know what it means to get information back home. We get, from bloggers, giving you most cases fake information. You don't really access the real information from broadcasters or the real news people back home. So I build, but also us depending on the big tech, YouTube, Facebook and others, they were just milking us. So I said, why don't we build our own? Why don't we build our own Netflix in Africa? So that's how I started AfroMobile. And we have more than 40 TV stations, including our own channels like NBS and others. We have 6 in the group, but we have other channels like UKD and others. on the platform. We have on-demand content, so if you listen to it because of the time difference, you don't need to rush, when you will watch it whenever you need to watch it. We've signed up all the movie or film producers in Uganda, so we have over 400 titles now. Movies, your children need to learn Uganda or something, maybe you can watch some of those movies in Uganda, but I believe 70% of them are in English, trying to develop that movie industry, but also trying to create jobs for them to be able to earn an income. We have DJ mixes. If whenever I've been Boston trying to go to nightclubs there, they are still playing the Mamma Mia of Chameleon in those days. So music Tanatuka. So there you get the latest DJ mixes of the hottest DJs in Kampala. Like, you go to all these clubs. So it connects you back home, and you can really sync that up with Bluetooth in your car as you're driving back home. So you listen to the radios, the Next Radio, CBS, Simba, and many others, Radio 1, and you'll be able to listen to those radios by having that app. And we are only charging $2.9 a month. Something that supposedly people are used to bills. I've been eating breakfast here for about $30, every morning. Then I said, yeah, you subscribe for 2 years, from mobile for 2 years. So maybe we put the price too low, but that's the plan. We already have about 17,000 diaspora people here in the US. We have about 40,000 from the UK, about another 15,000 from UAE, Dubai, and growing. So my plan is to have 50,000 out of the US here by close of next year. About 70,000 UK and Netherlands. Uganda, we already have 250,000 Ugandans using the platform. Uganda, they just pay 5,000 K. Subscription. Less than what because like I said. So that's the platform. And because I'm talking to tech people, download it, have it, give me feedback so we can improve and we make it better. If there are ways where we can partner, even with great ideas from you people, more than willing to listen, well, I'll share my contacts so we can engage and see how to connect Ugandans in diaspora back home so that they are fed with the right information, right content. I want to thank you and wish you the best out of this.
Thanks, Kini. We can stay up there for a moment. I believe we have some reactions here for you.
It's a great honor to meet you, sir. My name is Brian Kayongo from Concept Real Estate. I have one quick question for you, sir. You talked about partnership. So, in details, which kind of partnership are you looking for?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brian. One, I've heard that there are content creators here. If they have authentic content, not bloggers who characters assassinate people, we are willing to work with them, create channels that we on board on now for mobile, and then we share revenue from across. Instead of being here in the US, we take it across it. So that Ugandans in China, in South Africa, can share content because they already have from mobile. So I've had their radios, Uganda radio or something. So we want to engage and see how we can partner in that space. But also tech companies that are willing to plug in and make the hub more resilient, scale it. Yeah. Right. Let's create a Netflix of ourselves for the whole of Africa. I have a connection with all the big CEOs in the English-speaking Africa. All the biggest media houses, we work with them. it's our plan. We wanted to have Ugandan media platforms or channels on. We well tested, conquer that market, and then we already have the Rwanda channels on. Then get on Zambia, get on Tanzania. This is for Africa, not for Uganda. But for now, since we are speaking to Ugandans in the diaspora, we talk about Ugandan content. So that's the line. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Good evening or good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Keen, thank you for accepting our invitation. My name is Gilbert Baron Molari. I'm the chairperson, organizing committee for this convention, and it's an honor that Tech is this full this morning. Let's put hands together for the technology forum. We've been having so many planned meetings to make sure that we put this together for you guys to benefit. Brief question to Keen. I'll ask as a subscriber for Mobile App and also as chair for UNAA. For example, we as UNAA, we need publicity back home as much as possible. You've spoken about the platforms you have. I've been to Uganda, we do all these media interviews, we struggle to get media attention. Partnering with mixed media will put us a long way in terms of the reach to the different people, given that we have attendees and sponsors that come from Uganda. In this room we have sponsors, Eton Capital is a sponsor from Uganda. So more of him would love to know the value they get out of UNAA. But because of the social media presence, we may not have to reach. How can you, as Next Media, partner with some of us? We have leaders that come to Uganda that would love to speak to the different people. Secondly, now, as a subscriber to Afro Mobile, I get challenges in terms of sometimes the app is not working and we don't have direct contact to customer care. How can you help us? And also, people who subscribe to the app and log in on the laptops, on the computers, it doesn't work. It only works on the mobile, on the phone. Maybe you can also help us on that. Thank you so much, Ken, for coming.
Very good. Thank you, Chair. I'll start with the first question. How we partner. We want to pledge as Next Media that will be your permanent media partner. Even now, most of these highlights out of the UNAA convention, from Pasay to today to elections and others, we have coverage from back home, from NBS. We have reporters here who have come to get to cover the UNAA. So, and Next Media platforms, not in a way to brag, we control 70% of the progressive Ugandans, the people you target. So we have platforms that target CEOs, politicians, what we call a progressive Uganda. We also have platforms that target the elites, other people, the wananchi who wants. So we have all those platforms. Radio, TV, so we cover about 70% of the market. For radio, we have our own radios, but also we have 100 radios that are affiliated to Next Media and United Media. Every city, every town, we do have a radio that is affiliated to us. Digital, social media, we control 70% of the digital conversations in Uganda. So we'll be your partner and we'll be able to support all your activities, and events like these will give us hope. Because we've known UNAA for politics, now we know UNAA for better things. So the last question about Afro Mobile. Thank you for that feedback. We've been getting those. The product, as you know, the tech people tell you it goes through government. So that feedback maybe 6 months ago, we've since bought our web version, afromobile.com, that you'll be able to put on your smart TV and watch all these platforms or listen to maybe watch TV, they will watch any other TV here. We've since sorted we have a call center that works 24 hours. The numbers, we'll share those brochures, you'll be able to see those numbers. You can access them on WhatsApp, calls, voice calls, the IP calls, and many others. In terms of payments, we had issues with our integrator, our third-party integrator. We've since sorted it. People never wanted authentication, the OTP. They want to put in the card and go on forms and what. But our banks back home, because of regulations, they have insisted that we need that OTP for you to authenticate. Those who still have mobile money or Airtel money, MTN, Momo, you can still use those phones back home and pay. You can even pay less than the 2.99. You can pay the 5. We don't want to give you those tricks. But like your colleagues in Dubai, those many people in Dubai, Oman and others, we see many of them paying through their mobile money. Maybe partly they don't have the cards you people have, the Visa cards and others. We see them pay through mobile money. And we need feedback from you, also from the tech people, so that we can make the app better. Because you are the right people to give us feedback. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. All right, this is getting better by the minute. So up next, we're going to have an engagement panel where our panel is going to react to, respond to, discuss the tech ecosystem. And this is going to allow all of us to see where we can plug into the technology economy that's evolving all around us, whether here in the diaspora or back home or integrated platforms of that nature. But before that happens, I have something, and Julius will facilitate that conversation. I'm not sure if we've all managed to enter our information here. We're doing an online sign-in sheet. Have you all signed in? If you haven't, just raise your hand. I'll bring this over to you so you can enter your details. Thank you so much. Our goal is that after this forum, we'll continue the engagement to give you information, updates. We have conversations that will go on online about different, more specific topics, like you've just had, over the last 15, 20 minutes. Who has ever dreamt of Netflix for Africa? Anyone?
It's a good idea.
We now have it, right? So thanks, Kim, for sharing that. So Julius, please take it away.
Thank you so much, George. Glad to be back up here. Our previous presenters, I'm going to ask you guys to come back on stage so we can have this conversation. I have here Mr. Kim Teresa, Nicholas, and Paul Chirundi. Please come on stage for this panel. We'll try to keep it brief and move on to the next segment. There's a lot of wisdom to be shared. All right, welcome, gentlemen. There was a complaint about gender balance. This is not intentional. I promise we have women on the list. The next segment has ladies, that's for sure. Okay. Can you hear me? So I'm going to start really quickly. So again, this is the panel on the technology landscape in Uganda and North America. We keep on saying US, but really we are North America. We represent Canada, Mexico. We have a growing population of Ugandans in Mexico. And we have to pay attention to everyone in North America. So let's think a lot about Canada as well. I was recently in Toronto, and it's actually very, very, it's an alive technology community as well. I compared Toronto to Denver, Colorado. Lots of people there doing great stuff, including Ugandans. So, Paul, my question will come to you first. Why Uganda? You lived in San Francisco for what?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. what made you decide to just move to Uganda to do your startup there? Why didn't you do it in North America? I mean, there's more money there.
Right. So the vision for us is how do we ensure that our economies have constant flow of liquidity, right? That's not a problem in America. It's a problem in Africa, not just Uganda, but Africa. The World Bank estimates that Uganda has over 10 million people who get paid on a monthly basis, whether in formal or informal sector, right? But let's say just let's say 5 million people are in the formal sector. They get salary, right? And on average, let's say they make $200. What is $200 times 5 million people? Right? Like, that's the magnitude of what we want to fix. So people get paid only at the end of the month, but they live life every day.
So, you talk about Uganda, it has no credit system. And yet I see a lot of fintechs getting into this lending business. How are you, where is the braveness coming from? There's no basis for trusting the early payday thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so actually, ours, we took a different approach, right? We could choose to be like any other money lender. Our approach was different. We said we're going to, so actually, let me take you back. The original idea for Zofi Cash was supposed to be a marketplace for money lenders. But in there, we wanted to take on salary advance independently. But after doing research, and this was actually after even building a product, but so we did things backwards. Instead of doing research, we did a product first and then went to do research. So we found out that money lenders didn't have a good reputation. And then we risked to build a product that people are going to use, and then when they get flooded back from money lenders, Zofi Cash is going to suffer. So we had to redo everything. We said, no, we're not going to do the marketplace. It's still a good idea. If someone can pull it off, I believe it's still a good one. But so what we did is, our approach is when we've learned actually that our product solves problems for CEOs like NextMedia. NextMedia has over 200 employees, 500. If on average he's paying them, let's say again, $200, that's a lot of money. Ken has to put on the side to pay his employees because they need salary advances. So our approach is we go to Ken and tell him, hey, you don't have to take on that burden anymore. You can take it on. All what we want you is to commit to tell us that at the end of the month, you'll deduct this money these guys have taken from us, pay us, and then give them the balance, and you can come back.
Kim, do you agree? Is that a good use case for?
Yeah, it's solving a big problem because Ugandans being Ugandans, I'm not talking about you here, they consume more than what they make. They'll go to a wedding meeting and contribute money they don't earn, funerals, and I think even these things get to you people here. No gender food there, take a TUC now, we need to know Melozi, there's so many things. So you have to they spend more than they earn. So solutions like these ones plug in very well because again, you plan to pay people at the end of the month. You don't have money on the 15th or 20th. Now, what these solutions comes in to do is, let me charge you some little interest, and I give you this money now. Your employer will pay me at the end of the month. I think it's a very good. So you don't stress the employer, you stress the system, but you pay for it.
So kind of the model I'm seeing here is, many people are afraid to invest in Africa because the mindset is that they want to do startups that are not applicable to the landscape. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs who want to solve problems for Africa? How do you determine that the landscape will be healthy for your startup? You know, Zofikash is a very good, solves a very serious problem, right? Another aspiring entrepreneur thinking about the technology landscape in Uganda and how, or the landscape in Uganda and how they're going to survive. How do they have to adjust mindset in order to create products that will work?
So, Chair, what we need to do as people in the diaspora now that I'm here also from the diaspora, please don't stay here too long. Visit. If you can afford, every year, make a trip there, be there for 2 weeks. See the environment. Guys, whatever is here, whatever industry you talk of is already matured. 100 years, it takes 20 years, 15 years, 5 years. You might not come up with solutions that will solve America's problems. We have fresh problems back home that are peculiar, that people living in this space where everything is sorted might not have brains to think of solving those problems. But a little time you come to Africa, you come to Uganda, you'll be able to interface with these problems. I believe he did. And say, by the way, there's an opportunity here. So visit, save some money, go back home for 2 weeks. Interact with the system, go on a border. There is a safe border, an app called Safe Border. You think that Safe Border can work here in Dallas? I haven't seen any border. So now there's no way you can dream that you are here, you are seated, you go to the best universities here, and you think of those solutions. So visit. So that is point number 1. Point number 2. When you eventually come up with something you think you can hope for Africa, engage tech people back home in the thinking stage, in the development stage, so that you align the product to serve the purpose. Than developing something and can only work here. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does.
Those 2 things. Be home, interface with the problems that we have. 2 weeks. 2 weeks are good enough a year. Go there. Return. Don't stay there longer because people will make you. So go there and then return and then involve. We have young, brilliant people, they are tech hubs back home. Engage them and see how.
And then Kim, the last question I guess I have for you is, where do you place Uganda in comparison to other nations in Africa in terms of infrastructure, readiness for the brilliant minds we have in the diaspora? Where do you place Uganda?
So in the East African scale of things, or
Africa, East Africa?
Let me use East Africa. I'm familiar with it. On the scale of 1 to 10, if you put Kenya at 8, in terms of being ready for startups and in terms of skilled people, the environment, and the economy size and the regime, you put them at 8. Uganda would be at 6. I'll put Rwanda at 5.5. They have good environment, but then the market size is small. Because you don't want to go and solve a problem like Karen has a solution, and the uptake is 1,000 people. You get, as in you have 6 hospitals, and people can log on and use the solutions to 1,000. Because the total population maybe is 11 or 10 million people. So, and maybe 60% of those that are below 20 years old, they can't spend, they can't do anything. So Uganda will put it at 6, and at 5.5, Kenya at 8, South Sudan at 3, Tanzania at 5, Burundi at 2, Somalia at 2,
So we're not the worst. We're actually doing pretty good.
We are good. We have a good workforce that can plug in. The business environment is okay. The laws are there. They have good regulation through NITA and UCC. So really, the infrastructure is there for you to plug in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ken. Nick, I'll come to you. I'm going to bring it back home a little bit. You worked for Intel for how many years?
Actually,
sorry, Dell for how many years?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed. Okay.
A lot.
What does the landscape look like for Ugandans in North America today? I'm sure you even struggle to prove to someone that you are worthy of a job. It's not the case anymore. We've had more inclusion, but there are still challenges. What does the landscape look like to you today?
I think it's very promising, based on, especially we have a lot of vibrant, energetic young people, which is very different from when I got into Bell. At that time, we were probably one of just a few sprinkling of Africans. Definitely, your color is not going to help you, and you were pretty much. You know, one thing about growing in this country is all about mentorship. You need people to mentor you, to show you the way. And if you are getting into an organization, if you don't have a mentor, you will have problems. But now what we have done in companies like Dell, we have now made it like every senior engineer must be able to mentor somebody. And then the other thing is you have to find your niche. What are you good at? And those are the things that we didn't know very easily. But after some time, you get to know that, okay, I'm good at programming, or I'm good at AI, ML, but get something and then do very well at it. So the landscape is actually improving because many young people are coming in, and especially the fact that we also have a lot of our people who are now getting into very good universities, and they are able to come out and then get into some of these companies. But most of the time, there is a lot of competition for many of these jobs, and you have to prove yourself. But not only that, you also have to sustain yourself in those places. But what I'm getting encouraged in the sense that we are now having a lot more and more our people who are coming in as interns and who are joining the technology communities, and I think the future is very bright.
Thank you, Nick. Just quick, by show of hands here, people in tech, who has a mentor? Who of you has a mentor? Naomi, Juliana. Okay, so you guys, I know you're probably doing well in your company, okay? But if you are not, you're probably not achieving your greatest potential if you do not have an inside man, is what we call it, okay? I literally have someone who's pulled me up from the day I got hired by FICO till now, where I'm a director of software engineering. I have had somebody pull me up every step of the way, okay? So Nick makes a very good point. You need a mentor, you need an inside man. It's very important as a minority to have somebody who's got your back. It's not just to keep your job, but to keep growing. So ask questions and engage.
And just to add on to that, when we started, we didn't have communities like this one. So now, whether you have a mentor in your job place or not, now treat this.
How can you not make that?
Exactly. By having forums like this one, and having the ongoing discussions after that, you identify someone and say, oh, Fred Biavaje is in Intel, what he's doing is very close to what I'm doing, or the fact that he has been in Intel for this long, he has gone through the inside corporate politics and all that. He knows he might actually, show me the ropes on how to navigate, because wherever you are. And one thing is this, the higher you go up the more software skills are needed. It's not so much that you can program, no, that's a low level. When you go up, it's your software skills, how you relate to people, how you influence people. And in America, being influential is the key. They want to see that you are somebody who can make a difference. And the only way they can see that is how you are respected and what you are doing to make sure that you can actually push something forward. And you can get that from talking to people who have been successful in wherever they have been.
Okay. And I guess my last question would be, or maybe my second last question. So all you three gentlemen in different time zones, you traversed both of them. You're primarily in Africa, you're primarily here. We have entrepreneurs now where you can literally serve any market, North America and in Africa, specifically Uganda. In Uganda, do we have a group that supports entrepreneurs from abroad and just gives them some kind of head start? You mentioned they need to go spend some time, but it's really expensive to spend 6 months in Uganda to learn the landscape. It would be nice to have some kind of mentors also back there that can, somebody lands and says, I'm here, I want to do good stuff. Where do I start? Where do people start?
So thank you, Chair. So it depends on the scale. If you have an idea like Karen, you want to come and incubate it, you don't have internet, you don't have space, you need some 2-3 developers attached and paid by someone, there are areas to go. So there is an innovation hub by the government of Uganda and the Ministry of ICT, a few other tech hubs supported by MasterCard Foundation, and a few other hubs that unhold people until they commercialize their products. They are there. But it depends on the scale. If you are small and you want to grow and study the market and 1 or 2 years under somewhere and you don't have much money to spend, there's space for that. Now, for you want to come in, hit big, you already have a product like Paul here, you already have 10,000, 20,000, side earners using your platform, you want to scale it to 1 million, you come to Next Media. So I have a good solution, test it, but I want to scale. What do you want? Marketing. Okay, I'll put in $1 million per month. Make sure that everyone that you are targeting gets to know about this.
I hope you guys had this. No one is clapping
So then you scale. There is a new solution we've just launched in Uganda to make sure that we can have content creators, marketplace for them to be able to find jobs and also to be able to get paid in a dignified way. There's a big growing market for influencers. I don't know if people are familiar with influencers. Some of these bloggers, what, they have become influencers, but they have gained numbers through abusing people, so don't call them influencers. So the real influencers are people who have created content, you are an anchor, you have 1.2 million people following you, and there's a new product maybe by Stanbic Bank or MTN is launching 5G, they say talk about this 5G, talk about our new card. So in your way, whatever, you talk about it so people know. Well, the 1.5 million people will get to know about that product. That is influencing. So the problem has always been that I must know you working at MTN, say, boss, buy a gig. I want to be part of the team that is influencing. Now we are saying, let MTN Stanbic load the jobs on the app, which is Wowsy. Let the influencers have accounts there, and then they meet there. So it is AI choosing whether Keen or Paul are the right people to influence such a product, depending on my profile and the number of followers.
and you only need 250 followers across all platforms, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. So you say we are launching, we are making 15 years of NBS of next media. So we said we are launching 1.5 million jobs. Trackable, not these things of when I am saying we are creating jobs and we can't trace them. So trackable jobs, traceable, knowing that this month so many people have gotten jobs and have been paid $4 or $5 million. So that app, Wows International came to me and said, for Uganda, we don't have money to market. We want to work with Next Media. So we created an outfit of it called Next Wows because our communication agency is called Next Communications. We created Next Wows. We launched it. Day one, 12,000 influencers joined the app. Day one like this. In Kenya, it took them 2 years. That's the power of media, power of marketing. And indeed, we will make 1.5 million jobs within maybe 1 year instead of 5 years. Now, all here with that app that is so important. Companies in Kampala are employing 5 people, they want to log in, whatever. How will they know if they are in Kampala employing 15 people? They can't market, they can't move. Accessing all these HR officers and CEOs. Ugandans, they don't just accept people who come and talk to them. Someone knowing them must have called. Boss, sending someone at Jao, I'm sending someone to see you. Gamba no. So that's Uganda. But the power of media pushes that product to them. I believe at that level, then you can scale faster. Instead of 20,000, would have maybe 500,000 people accessing the platform maybe in 6 months. But a partnership like those now, make it penetrate the market.
Thank you so much. And my last question, I guess, Paul, you can take this one. It is just a closing thought on how do we propel Ugandan ingenuity across the continents? How do we propel ourselves? You know, how do we make the landscape feel Ugandan brilliance?
Right. Thank you. I tell people that in the next 5 years, I'm being intentional to make sure that Uganda has at least 3 to 5 continental companies. I'm talking about companies which are not creating solutions to solve Ugandan problems, but continent problems. Because the beauty with Africa is, for the most part, if you find a solution for a problem in Uganda, most part people in Kenya have the same problem, right? But we have to be intentional. As in intentional, what I mean is we must have skin in the game. This business of who was asking? Someone was asking me that how come Ugandans are not investing in you? And I told him that in Uganda, the people who are posing as investors are dealers and traders. You go to them and tell them that you have this product can be used by this kind of users. The next thing they ask you is, okay, how much can you give me next month? You know, investment doesn't work like that. So we have to be intentional while investing and building these products. You guys are stellar guys. You have the experience Africa needs. You have it already. You're working with amazing companies. You know, you can imagine what experience he can bring to the table, what experience he can bring, what experience all of you here can bring for us to build those products. You have what it takes already. Let's be intentional. Let's have skin in the game. Otherwise, if we don't, other people are going to do it. And if they do it, we'll still lose out. Today, Zofikash has raised over $1 million US, right? You know where that investment came from? It came from Nigeria. Yeah, it came from Nigeria. tried to pitch to the people in Uganda, they didn't see it. You know? The bad thing is, 5-10 years from now, Nigerians will be making a lot of money from Uganda. Not just Nigerians. Americans are coming in droves, Europeans are coming in big droves. You know? When we make that 10x, 100x returns for them, they'll repatriate the money and take it out. It's not going to stay in Uganda. So, as we are building, let's be intentional. Kid has built an empire. If you want to target like border guys, if you're building a product and you're targeting border guys, he has a market for that. If you're building for the youth, he has a segment for that. If you're targeting people who love sports and everything, he has a channel dedicated for that. So how do you come in and plug in? You know? So let's be intentional about everything that we do. Let's be intentional about the products that we build. We have good experience here. We've seen how it works. You know, we can do it. There's a lot of room in health. There's a lot of room in education. There's a lot of room in real estate. Like everything that you can think of is just virgin.
But we have enough money transfer apps.
You see, that's the thing. So when people ask me about Zofi Cash, the first thing they're so you're also like sending money? I'm like, no. I don't send money. One actually, I think it was in 2015. I tried to do 2014. I tried to do a money remittance app. I think some of you were my customers back then. I used to have a calling card company. You know what a calling card company? If you've lived abroad, you know what a calling card company is. So I built a calling card company, and then WhatsApp and Viber comes. I lost all the customers that I had. They couldn't buy credit from me anymore. Then I have them, they're there, started calling them, hey, by the way, I can send money for you to Uganda. That was the time when mobile money was just taking off. I just had a friend of mine, sent him like $1,000, tell him, hey, so I want you to have this money. Someone, it was hard for me. If someone calls me and they want to send money back home, I'll pull money from their debit card, and then I'll tell you the number to send it, you know? So somehow, SendWave sneaked on me. They came in they had done proper market research, you know? Well, for us, I was trying to disrupt Western Union, right? But in a manual way. Still manual. But what I was taking away, the burden that I was taking away from people is you having to wake up in the morning, you worked like an entire night shift, you have to wake up early in the morning, go find Western Union, give them money, send it back home, you know? And I was telling them, just call me, I can send that money for you. SendWave comes in, has done proper market research, offers the product at zero. You know? But Ugandans take little time to adapt. So what SendWave did was to go to communities like here. They'll come here and identify who are the key people. Talk to them. Can you try to influence our product? The market doesn't know it. So they came to California and they told me, hey, we want you to be our ambassador. Awichu was one of the guys they talked to in California. I said, no, I can't be competing with myself. Like, I have a product and you guys are going to give your rent for your money. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like 6 months later, they had swept the market. When people were a little hesitant to adapt, I installed SendWave. If you called me and you wanted to send money, I'll just use SendWave and send it for you. That's what I did, you know? But eventually, people adapted and I lost it out, you know? That's kind of what has been my journey. I've been intentional, I've been relentless, I've never given up.
That's very. I think guys have learned something from that. These things don't happen by mistake, right? It takes failure and inability to give up. You can't quit. Nick, you wanted to.
Yeah, so want to piggyback on what they have done. And I know a number of us here are doing something back home. most of us have at least tried to build something. Most of us have shied away from doing, anything other than real estate, because at least with the house you see it. Yeah, but what I want us to at least take home from these conversations is that we can use technology to make money. And because in Uganda, there is not only Uganda, but the whole of Africa, there is a real need. And our need, we are really needed there. So I think what we should be focusing on is, okay, how do we go to Uganda? And I mean, you might have built your 10th house or something. Okay, what do you do next? So I think we should come together. And I've seen a lot of investment clubs mushrooming. And I'm sure you are going to hear from a number of them saying, okay, you come, let's put together, we shall build apartments and stuff like that. I think we should also move in that direction and say, okay, there is a technology idea here. Let's put our money together and let's do something. Let's go and disrupt that market. And I can tell you, we shall make far much more money than building the next apartment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I totally agree, and it kind of leads us into our next segment, which is about startups. We won't have so much time for it, but I still think we can spend 20 minutes on it and just move on to next. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on stage. Nick, Tim, thank you so much. Thank you, Paul. All right. So, Geoffrey, are you ready? Okay. All right. So I'll hand it over to George, and yeah, thank you for that panel.
All right, yeah, as George prepares to come on stage with the next panel, let me use the opportunity again to thank you very much for being here. And the reason we do this, we try to push this forum is for us to have the opportunity to engage each other, know each other, make connections. So please, don't hesitate to look around, look at the neighbor, say hello, get to know them, because it is important to us. It is one of the reasons we are doing this, is to foster connections and enable us to engage one another and be productive as we go forward into the next 10 years of this journey. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone again, George here. Are you having a good time? Yes. Is this meaningful? Is it valuable? Yeah. This is a UNAA forum like no other. I will just share with you what our excitement was, looking at what value or how much incredible value there is in technology. The team that put this together, you're going to meet us one by one as we go along this weekend, was really passionate that if anyone's going to come to UNAA this year, let them go home loaded with at least $1 million. Because if you can see it, you can make it. So we want to inspire vision, we want to inspire creativity, we want to inspire initiative, we want to inspire partnerships. Don't discount yourselves. Today, there is a millionaire that owns 99 cents. You know the 99 cent stores? We have them in Southern California and a few other places. That dude retired from 8 to 5 hard labor of retail at 65. Not knowing what to do, he decided and said, what do I use my retirement package for? So him and his wife sat down and said, let's create a little store where anybody with $1 can find something they need for their home. And at 67 years old, he became the millionaire he has always dreamed about after retirement. This is serious. Post-retirement. All right? So I'm waiting for, oh, great. All right, I'm going to share a few slides with you. And this is about e-learning, something I've grown to be so passionate about. I have a background in a number of fields and areas, I'm not sure why King is leaving, but we are going to need next media to do a few things. But okay, please pay attention. Would you help me, Robert? Kill the light. Yeah, so okay. So we all know what e-learning is. I own an entity that is both US registered and Ugandan registered called Strategic Support Systems. And Strategic Support Systems is a company set up to support any business that needs either business support or technical IT support. This product has been created as an e-learning product. Our goal is to build a platform. This platform is something very simple. It takes the classical education curriculum that we all have been a part of, UNAA, right? Are you familiar with UNAA? Yes, we take that entire curriculum. Our goal is to digitize the curriculum, make it digital and portable, and make that cloud-based. And then build a platform that would allow anybody with a mobile device to access that content from anywhere in the country. All right? And so, if we go to the first slide, please. Just scroll up. Yep. So, the idea is based on the readiness of our people. There is currently, like you have seen, a huge shift in digital content consumption across the entire developing world. Okay, there is higher internet penetration now. And then finally, we are looking at the dropping cost, the lowering cost of access to education, and quality education is what we want to present. So what type of problem are we solving? This product is going to solve, next slide please. This product solves the current high cost of education in Africa. Same point, on average, a student, a pupil, in Uganda particularly, pays an average of about $500 to $800 a year for education, depending on what school and what level they are. Secondly, very few people can access good quality education schools. In other words, a school can only take about 500 kids sometimes. Sometimes they can take 1,000 kids. But those good schools have become highly competitive. So what this takes away is the limited access to good education for the entire population. The other thing is that good quality education is not found everywhere. In my day, if you need to go to Namagunga, SMAC, Mwiri, or King's College Budo, that was it. The A-listers went to those schools, yeah? Nabingo, did you say? Mengo. You understand? Nyakasura. Exactly. And so there were just a few schools scattered in a few places that you competitively had to qualify for. If you didn't, they would charge your parents an arm and a leg to give you your child or you a place in that school. So this sort of takes that away because those schools had unique teachers that were good at math, economics, some science subjects and things like that. In this case, we take that good quality type of education, capture it in digital form, and it becomes portable. And all of a sudden, this great teacher that was only available in Namagunga can be heard by kids in Gulu, in Kabali, in Bujiri, regardless of where they are. All they have to do is to play back the video. All right? So, go to the next slide, please. Oh yeah, okay. So, we're reducing the need for high school fees. Our goal is to have every child access this quality content at only $100 a year. People are paying $500 a term, which is about 1.82 million shillings at the time, plus other school requirements. We're reducing that to just $100 to find very high quality education material. Secondly, we want no additional cost to the student or the learner. At the end of this platform being built in its end state, we would want to have it integrated with the internet service providers in the country, as well as have a community Wi-Fi network that is dedicated to education. Meaning, if you find yourself in Barara town, and that is your area of residency, you would see a signal on there that is dedicated to our channel, and as long as your kid has subscribed for $100 a year, they can log into their school and be able to study. If you moved next week and went to Kampala for a break, the kid can log on and do homework from Kampala at no additional cost. Today, there are internet service provider packages, meaning MTN, Airtel, and so on. They have a way of isolating data so that there's bandwidth dedicated to particular things, just like we have 911 today. There is no cost for you calling 911 from your phone, regardless of where you are. So education being a social necessity, this becomes a subsidized access point. So regardless of what network you're going to be on, we would make this available. All right, so we're going to probably skip over the next couple of slides. If you can go to the next one. All right, we've built a prototype that has some learners that are helping us test. And in that prototype, there are about 1,300 videos of lessons captured. And it's a combination of videos and multimedia illustrations, pictures, videos, and text. Okay? And this is where we are now. And we're providing two subjects for the test environment, which is mathematics and science for the primary level. If we go to the next slide. So our goal is to build a microservices platform. And I will sort of close it out from here. That microservices platform is to create multiple modules that form a platform. And among these modules are going to be one, an elementary content management platform, meaning we're going to digitize the primary school curriculum and store it in a unique platform, in a unique module. A secondary school module that holds all the digital content of that curriculum. Then we'll have an institutional management component that allows schools to access this content. So if your child goes to a regular school, we don't intend to compete with those schools. We want to offer them a way to tap into this content and actually have their teachers utilize this content as well to teach those classes. Basically, we are going from a blackboard to full color, full motion, video, and images. Then one of the other things that we want to do is to create a learning management system which will sort of allow students to learn, help us to monitor how they are learning, and map them to particular schools and trainers. Then if there are external entities that provide education, you know that there are non-classical education centers. They provide courses, some of them are universities, some of them are intermediaries. In between there, we will provide a separate, unique external content management module for them. In this platform, we also intend to offer a teacher management module, meaning if you are a teacher that is good at what you do, you can actually create your own account and have students find you for training in your area of specialty. Among the others is the evaluation management, which is very important for policymakers, for the Ministry of Education to use to help us govern how kids are learning and for us to give them data where they need it. And the others are modules necessary to enable learning, like communication, learning reports, as well as performance analytics. Now, what this does for us is really to create what everybody's doing. If you notice today, none of us has ever read a user manual for YouTube or for WhatsApp. Has anyone done so? No. It is intuitively designed and easy to use. The goal is to make education as simple as a YouTube platform so that you can go search for what you need and learn based on your level of learning. And so these are some screenshots from the test environment that we have for different classes. We've already talked through most of the items. I'm going to ask that we skip down to 13, where we have the map of Africa. Yep, that's it. Now, if you notice, all of the sub-Saharan and most of the developing world shares education frameworks. Science is science, math is math, English is English, social studies is social studies, or whatever else they call them. So our goal is to create a scalable platform that, once tested in Uganda, would actually almost seamlessly map onto all these countries. You follow? So it is super scalable across the entire region. So in our first 3 years, we want to make sure that we isolate, build, and use Uganda as the test environment. And then over 4 to 7 years, we'll scale down into all those nations. So, if you go to the next slide, what does this present for you? I'm sharing this with you because we are at an inflection point where we are looking for finance and investment support to enter into this market. So the global e-learning market is about $457 billion as of, which is projected to be at that level by 2027, coming on soon. In Africa, we only take about a 10% share of the e-learning market by 2027 as projected. Right now, our goal is to capture of that African market about $517 million value, which is about 11% of the African market if we went live 1st January 2024. Now, from that perspective, how do we get there? Our goal is to offer this at $100 for every student per year. For Uganda today, I'll just give you a view of the scale and what that implies. What that translates into is this. Today there are about 17 to 18 million children signed up for school in Uganda, primary and secondary. Our target is to have at least 1 million students using this application in Uganda, of that 17, 18 million. Just 1 million. In our phase 1, if we're able to achieve 1 million kids on this platform, which is not difficult with the right marketing like you saw, we look at a revenue model where we'll be charging $100 per student for the entire year. It translates to $33 per term, which is 100,000 shillings. It is cheaper than any coaching your child can find. We will be grossing at about $100 million of turnover per year. The beauty about this product is that we digitize once. The curriculum doesn't change. It changes a little bit every 20 years. But once we've digitized biology, that's it. Once we've digitized physics, that's it. Once we've digitized P4 math, that's it. And so our investment model is that we may take a large chunk of investment at the front end, but the payoff is recurring and we don't have to rebuild the application. The content becomes a cash cow and at a very, very low cost. So we're going to offer 2 solutions. A solution where your child can study at home. Any child can study from home, from a cell phone, an iPad, or a laptop. Option 2 will be if your child is already in a school, then the school can offer our classes on a school-based supervised model. So the school is more of a partner for us than a competitor. I will pause there and take any questions if there are. I think we can get the lights back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, George and Rogers, for a round of applause. Questions? I'm missing the wireless mic. We had 2 of them. I wonder where the other one is.
This is very, very exciting. I liked the last part, which is the money part. Now, quick question, because I want to understand this better. How different is this from Khan Academy, for instance?
So, Khan Academy, I don't want to group them because it will take a more specific analysis of their product, but at a high level, many e-learning products are designed in a micro sense, meaning they are applicable to a particular curriculum that is positioned for international, an international market. For those people who have always wanted to have their kids in international school, access maybe the Montessori curriculum and that type of thing. This is taking the classical curriculum that we have from P1 to S6 as is, without interfering with what is recommended by the Ministry of Education. So this would be 100% Ministry of Education certified classes for every child, so that what the kid is learning in UPE is now available here. And this would be an easy thing for us to do. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're taking the wheel and making it available as a digital product.
Thank you. I know there are so many challenges, back home regarding the internet. Now, how are you going to make sure that even schools from the villages can actually use this product? Is it going to be both online and offline? I just want to understand what your plans are and how you intend to do this.
Thank you. Yes. The first answer is yes. Our goal is to make sure that every school and every student can access this content. One, by downloading an application on the App Store. Currently, we have an app on the Google Play Store, which is our test app. It's called MyLib, M-Y-L-I-B. And so, wherever you have access to internet across the entire country, you will have access to this application. The classes are designed portable enough for them to download onto any Android or Apple phone or any other device. This will be available both on a platform as well as on the web, so that wherever you are, you can access. Now, what differentiates this solution from what has been before is that our plan is to work with the internet service providers so that we have ongoing contracts to ensure that whoever accesses the website on the platform URLs, gets through for free. So from a student's perspective, there will be no payment required. As soon as you have subscribed the $100, wherever you have an internet signal in Uganda, you will be charged $0 for your data. From the $100 that you pay annually, we would pay the internet service providers to ensure that our websites are accessed for free. And that data carries only education content, nothing more than education. So it will be dedicated. Just like I said, you see how 911 works on your phone, it goes through directly. Whether you have a SIM or no SIM, it's just going to go through. And so those contracts do exist because education is a social service.
Thank you so much. In the interest of time, I'm going to take only 2 more questions. I know she had her hand up, and then that one. Beyond that, we will have George's contacts. We're going to be providing a lot of information, and we can always follow up offline, or maybe tomorrow, but now we're trying to get out for lunch.
Thank you, George, for that wonderful innovation. I'm only concerned about maybe 2 aspects. I didn't hear about examination, and maybe I wanted also to know whether you have a monitoring plan for the level of participation and interaction, because the type of pupils and students that we have usually want to interact. Did you embed that?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The last one, and then you can answer both.
Yes.
Yes, my question is, you said that this would be a program that from the get-go would feed the region of Southern Africa. Knowing what we have been doing back home is that people come in with all sorts of curriculums in addition to what Uganda already provides, just within Uganda. All the schools are using all sorts of curriculums from Japan, from England, from US, and from US, so many different, from Australia. So how then, if you're thinking of Uganda, you're thinking of the Uganda Department of Education within Uganda, that would work well. But how then are you going to apply your Uganda education to the rest of the southern part of Africa and assume that that would pass? Because I'm sure they have their different kinds as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you very much for those questions. So first, if you saw the layout, our goal is to take a module approach by creating microservices. That's the current way, the most efficient way to build platforms today. I work with a lot of companies in Silicon Valley, where I'm based, in San Francisco, and that's the most effective way to build. But bottom line is, microservices allow us to create modules that function as a service, and they talk to each other. And so by doing that, our goal is, we're building, and we have provided for, first of all, to answer your question directly, evaluation. Because there is no education without the ability to see what the student is doing. But what makes this different is that we are having a unique evaluation module that is only designed for evaluation and performance. So whatever lessons we build, they have a complementary evaluation and assessment function in a separate module. Because we know that this is of key interest to two stakeholders, parents and the ministry. By parents, I'm including the schools that may be administration environments. Now, besides evaluation, previously we've had a lot more student evaluation, but we've had very little instructor evaluation. So because of the data capabilities of this platform, we can now also tag teacher performance from the back end to provide feedback to our educators to say, this teacher has a better math outcome than another teacher. And we can sort of compare what those are. We can also look at the conditions, what time the students are learning. Those who learn at 7 a.m. probably perform better than those who learn at 2. And so those adjustments can always be made. But we'll have the back-end data analytical capability because we have a data analysis module that is also separate from evaluation. Okay? So that is part of what the system is. Then we'll have a separate reporting application that sends reports to whoever is configured for particular reports. So if you are in the platform as a parent, you'll get reporting for all the children that are mapped to you, and also the schools that are mapped to you. So you know how your school is performing. Okay. Now, regarding the curriculum applicability across different countries, the foundational education for every child is nearly the same. And so we are taking the primary education content. For example, what math is does not change across the board. Sometimes it's in the naming or the delivery style or type. Some math is presented practically, kids are given projects, but they're actually learning 1 + 1 = 2. But they might be in an outdoor environment, in a class, or on a video. Now, with that in mind, we also recognize the uniqueness of the requirements of every country. And so compliance is very important because education is not a space you just walk in and do what you want. So we are not doing what we want. We are taking the curriculums of those unique countries as they are and digitizing them, and then submitting the digital version for approval. Like in Uganda, we have had 1,240 lessons approved by the National Curriculum Development Center, because they review and then give us a thumbs up that this achieves the learning objectives for that module. So we have to do that for every single country, get that approval, and then make it available, because we'd like for this to be a mass consumable product, so that every child indeed will not be left behind. Robert.
Thank you. I'm going Nicholas, thank you so much. Nicholas has last one, and let's make the answer very short because we get on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At what stage is this app? Is it already rolled out, or is it about to be rolled out?
Prototype. We have a prototype, and it's ready for scaling. Now, the prototype has been built in an environment that is controlled. So scaling would require us to rebuild and retool the platform on a scalable, in a scalable environment, bring all this data up to AWS and all those spaces, so that it's now easy for us to distribute, and also to ensure that when a child opens a class, they will have it available for a period of time, whether they are online or offline. And I think someone had mentioned online access or offline access, the gentleman at the back.
Yes.
Yes, so that capability is going to remain and is currently native to the test app that we have. Robert.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause for George. Yes, this is why we do this forum, to discover such innovations in the pipeline, and perhaps to some of you have money to invest, right? So thank you very much, George. Thank you for paying attention to his presentation. All right, Mr. Julius.
Thank you so much, George. Guys, I'm so sorry we're running out of time here, but at the same time, the Trade and Investment Forum has not, they've not yet called us for lunch. What we're going to do is, we have a period that we had planned to do discussion on startups, and we're going to put all the sessions together. We're basically going to have a very brief inspirational speech from Geoffrey Chwaneka, who's a venture capitalist from Silicon Valley. And I think, you know, after that, we shall all do a panel. I have some exciting people who do a panel on, you know, building startups and youth in technology. And we'll call it a day for today. I wouldn't want to not do this, so we do it tomorrow and push something else off the schedule. So please bear with us. We'll be out of here in 20 minutes and head over for lunch, okay? Geoffrey, if you're ready, please. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon again. It's great. Even in my work environment, I'm always like this. But I'm Geoffrey Chwaneka. I live in San Francisco Bay Area. I've worked in tech for several years, different companies, different sizes. I worked at Tesla most recently. I was there 7 years. I joined in 2013. Many people didn't know about the company. I was involved in growing the company, different projects globally. It's kind of it was a public company, but it was a startup. Had a very visionary leader, many challenges. So I saw a lot of things, the challenges and how to scale a company. I was involved in so many projects
globally, China, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, really a lot of things. And it's, it's a car company, it's a lot of technologies, factories. A Tesla factory is, I don't know, it's several miles, square miles, just a factory with robots, lots of infrastructure, a lot of things which are run by software, lots of security, men again security here, lots of security in these factories and all the other things. So you're working with a lot of people, a lot of talent. I did work with the person who secured the iPhone. She was a hacker. So I worked with so many things. But basically I saw a lot of things, and then I realized that how do I bring this talent to other people, to Africa? I met a young Ugandan who was trying to develop an electric bike around COVID. And I helped him do that. The company is called Kara, so you can go to kara.africa. And also invested in the company. Having seen that, I saw a lot of opportunity in Africa with young entrepreneurs and their challenges. They need capital, they need mentoring, they need support. Then I also realized, other ecosystems like what Paul said, Nigerians, and I've seen what they've done, how people like us in the diaspora have used our skills and also mobilized capital to build these companies. So over a long period of time, and also thinking, and that's why I decided to move into venture capital and focused on African companies, young startups. There's so many. Paul is an example, but there are others. We launched it this year. We had an event in Uganda. Paul was there. There were around 100 young people. We had an event in Tanzania. So I've seen a lot within this tech ecosystem in Africa. We've received pitch decks from every country in Africa, from Nigeria, over 100. People doing all kinds of things, painting, in healthcare, in edtech, agriculture, so many things. We've seen investors from the US, Europe, flying into these countries, like Paul said, and investing in these companies. But there's zero local capital. I don't know of any Ugandan startup where there's local capital. It is zero. Paul can attest to that. This is a problem because, like Paul said, when a company exits, the money will go and we'll have lost. That's why I decided to get involved. There are founders in the diaspora. There are Africans in the diaspora trying to innovate. There are so many. I've run into people from Ghana. I met a lady from Cameroon. She has a startup doing clinical trial services for the continent. Okay, like pharma companies here, using her to do clinical trials in Africa. The company, it's called Infused Health. You can type it this is public information, the company is there. But all her investors were in Silicon Valley. She raised $3 million or something like that. See? So, Africa is like Asia 20 years ago. And there's a need for people like us to invest in, these young entrepreneurs and also people in the diaspora. If we don't, we'll lose out. Technology is not about only programming, it's an ecosystem. There is policy, there is awareness, there is the entrepreneur, there is capital. All those things have to come together. Think of Apple. It produces an iPhone, but if nobody buys that iPhone, the company dies, correct? So technology is an ecosystem. This is the best investment forum than the other one. Okay? People think of technology as software, but they don't get it. This should be the investment forum of UNAA. It's not the other one. Think of Apple. Okay, think of all these other things, but it's an ecosystem. There is the entrepreneur, there is capital, there is awareness. You build a product, you need a market. I was just talking about this. He has done that, but there's a market. If you don't speak about your product dies. That's what technology is, and that's what people here have understood, that technology is an ecosystem. It's not just writing software. We produced a Tesla car, we had to sell it. Do you know why it's successful? Elon has 140 million viewers on Twitter. Tesla has never advertised. You can go check on Super Bowl, there is no single ad. None. There is none. But he understood these things, that the power of tweeting. You get the point? That's how everything comes together. But people look at technology as writing code daily. That is the mistake they make. It's an ecosystem, and we have to understand it. We have a role to play in Uganda, our knowledge. We did a boot camp in Uganda, my company. I have other partners, by the way. It's not just me. We did a boot camp. We got 51 applications. It was online. One person was in San Francisco, others in Nairobi, whatever. The world has changed. You can be here and mentor someone in Uganda. You don't have to leave your house. We did all this online. We got 51 applications. If we had advertised it more, we can even get 1,000. We ran it for 6 weeks. We continue to mentor some of the 16 with all these kind of ideas. But this is for me what I realized, that people are trying to innovate, but they need support. They need that capital. A company, goes through some phases. Early stage, like what he's just said, here's his product here. But that initial capital, how do you scale it up? How do you go from Uganda to another market? There's a lot of stuff. But we have to get involved. That's for me my message. You have to get involved in these things, because the opportunity, this is the investment forum, not the other one. So we have to, Karen spoke here, okay? What she did, okay? She's a founder. Forget about the app. She's a founder. She's a founder of a company. That's what the real thing is. How do you take that to become, how do you commercialize it? You found a company, you get a CTO, you get, other people. How do you scale it up? You register it. You get early investors, product, you roll it out. That's what it is. That's what she did. That's what she showed you. I told you the story of Dropbox. The founder was from Iran. She met someone, and they were just talking, and they invested in the company. So we have to think like that. Don't forget what she said here, that I'm a student. You don't have to be 40 years to invent a company. You can do it in college. That's what Facebook did. They did it and just flew to Silicon Valley, and they're doing this. So we should, she did this, but let's think bigger. She's the founder of a company. Yeah, so we'll continue tomorrow. But for me, that's the message I want from us people. You know, we've been here. There's so many of us working in so many positions. We can really make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you so much, Geoffrey. I'm sure people are going to have questions for you, but let's do the questions after lunch. Guys, food is served in a trade and investment forum. I don't want anybody to miss food. So please follow me. Let's go serve food. And then let's come back here. We'll come back here and spend like 25 minutes and then close the first day. Okay? I think that's a better plan.
Go eat something.